Ian Freeman, and I want to apologize earlier. Last time I was in front of this committee, and it's New Hampshire organized crime, it was received much better. People laughed, so I didn't realize it was going to go over like a rock off a cliff. So I'm really Ian Freeman, and I'm here today to support this bill. This is the best bill that is in front of you. I mean, I support all of them, but this is the best one. And what was touched on previously by William Kostrick is absolutely correct. When people have their lives touched by prohibition, it is very deleterious to their freedom and to their livelihoods. The numbers that were cited here, I don't know if they were entirely honest, but let's say they were with the 25 people in prison. That doesn't give you the number of people in jail in New Hampshire. So you've got 10 jails in every, one jail per county. I have been inside one of those facilities. It was actually Rick Van Wickler's facility that I was held in. He's a great superintendent. He's somebody who actually has compassion for the people that are within his facility. And while I was in there, I was in our block. There are several blocks, so I did not get to experience the other blocks, but of the people that I met while I was in jail, there were 2 of them that were there for selling cannabis. One of them's name was Dan. He's from Keene State College. You heard one of the Keene State representatives earlier tonight. He had been arrested for selling marijuana, and the circumstance surrounding his arrest was January, pretty cold out, snow was on the ground. The police, including the New Hampshire Drug Task Force and the Keene Police Department, showed up at his door, busted his door in. They had shotguns pointed at him while he was in his bed. They held him at gunpoint in his boxers, took him outside, put him in the snow in his boxers, did not allow him to even have the decency of putting his clothes on. And the amount of marijuana they found in this man's home was an ounce. 1 ounce of marijuana. That is barely enough to sell to 4 friends.
You didn't get caught selling it, right?
They found a scale with the ounce, so that is why he was given the charge of sales. Plus, they had arrested people at the college for possession, who they then get people to snitch on their friends because they scare them. They tell them, oh, you're going to be spending 2 years in prison unless you give up your buddy who sold this to you. So they gave him up. They did the investigation. They came into his home. They put him in jail for, he took the plea deal, which most people do, as was discussed earlier. They put him in there for at least 90 days in that jail. Nicest guy you could possibly meet, hadn't ever hurt anybody, but he was treated as though he were a murderer or some kind of violent criminal. And the police officers here act like they're just doing their jobs. They love to say, well, we're just doing our jobs, we're just following the law. If that were a true statement, then they would be out Sunday afternoons across this state making arrests at all the Little League fields and all of the people that play sports here in New Hampshire, because from what I have been told by a former law enforcement officer, it is illegal to play sports on Sunday in New Hampshire. It is illegal to recreate on Sunday in New Hampshire. And it's just not enforced because it's ridiculous.
It's not a law.
Well, I don't have the RSA in front of me, but this is a law enforcement officer who told me this. He also told me that there's a law that says it's illegal to take anything at all besides milk and put it in a milk container. That is a misdemeanor charge. So I have no reason to disbelieve this man, and if he were here, he'd tell you himself. But the reason the police aren't investigating those crimes is because they're not generating money for them. When they arrest somebody for marijuana and they put them through the court system, they go in there, they take the plea deal, and they end up with a $400 and something fine. Now, of course, most of the people arrested for marijuana aren't driving a Lexus. In fact, they're not pulling over the people with Lexuses and searching them. They're searching the people with the beat-up cars and the long hair and colored people as well. They're searching these people, and a lot of those folks don't have a whole bunch of money. So, of course, they get on the payment plan. And then they have to pay more than $400 because they're paying a finance charge. And then the cycle just never ends, because once they get picked up once, the next time the cop is, police officer's behind them, they run their tag. Oh, this guy got busted for marijuana, let's pull him over. Come up with a reason to pull him over, manufacture something, and then search his car. And I'd like to just invite you, if you've never done it before, please. Monday, they do generally do arraignments. I know in Keene on the first 2 weeks of every month. So the first week in March, go to your local district court, whatever's closest to you. Go there bright and early, about 8:30 in the morning, and meet some of the people. Meet some of the people that are being affected by these laws. And you'll find out that they're not bad people. They're people who have families, they have jobs, they have careers, and they are not hurting anyone, but this system is hurting them.
Do you believe that other people that do marijuana should give it to young people, sell it to them?
Well, I think that young people are getting marijuana today. You heard the high schoolers here saying that there are significant percentages of people in high school that are getting cannabis. I started smoking cannabis in high school myself. I wasn't buying it at that time, but I was getting it through a friend, and usually that's how it ends up happening. It happens through friends.
No, I mean directly selling it to a middle school person or lower grades.
Yeah,
Do you believe that they should be, that nothing should be done to those people doing that?
I think that if there's no victim, there's no crime. I think that there should be maybe a social ostracism where you might tell somebody, hey, I don't appreciate what you've done. But to spend resources and put somebody behind bars in a jail cell who hasn't actually hurt another human being, I firmly oppose doing that.
But I just said they sold this marijuana to this young kid that was in middle school.
Yeah, again, generally I don't think that that's something people should do, but I don't believe that people should be put behind bars unless they actually hurt somebody or damage some sort of property. And the jury's out on, you know, what a marijuana user will do, you know, what marijuana will do to somebody at a young age. It's probably not a good thing, but I believe in social ostracism rather than using jail cells and things like that. Happy to take any questions. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Representative Robinson.
Wouldn't you feel it was just as bad to give them a cigarette?
Again, you know, they're getting
Which is
cigarettes.
genuinely addictive.
Sure, I'm no fan of cigarettes. I've never smoked cigarettes. I have smoked plenty of cannabis throughout my lifetime. I'd like to point out I'm a business owner. The idea that cannabis users are shiftless losers is ridiculous mischaracterization. Cannabis users, they span the strata all the way from doctors and lawyers all the way down to, you know, people who are, you know, taxi drivers. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but you know, all over the economic strata.
Thank you very much.
I have one quick one.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say thank you, Madam Chair, before I ask the question, that I did appreciate your previous persona. But I wanted to talk about, just ask a question about young people. Young people are getting it now, we've heard testimony, quite easily, apparently. I could walk down any street corner in Manchester, they could probably get it more easily than I as an old person can. If in fact marijuana were decriminalized, as this bill or these bills would do, would that not make it more difficult for young people to get it? Because people wouldn't be selling it on every street corner?
I think that there's some evidence to suggest that might be true. However, I'd like to put this forth to address the young people issue, because a lot of people are concerned with this. The fact is, young people, whether they're under 18 or under 21, are interested in altering their states of consciousness. It's a popular thing to do. It's something they're going to do. It's something that people need to accept. They're going to do it. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what would you prefer they alter their state of consciousness with? Would you prefer they alter their state of consciousness with something that's natural, that grows from the earth, that has been used for thousands of years and used in a way that has never harmed anyone? Or would you prefer they huff Freon from the air conditioner outside of their home? Perhaps huff some gasoline, or huff some paint thinner, or something like that. Or maybe go and buy some of these new designer drugs from the local corner store. I don't know if you've heard about these things.
Yes, we've heard.
But yeah, you know, they're going to use something. If I had to choose, I'd rather have my son or daughter smoking pot than going out and huffing paint thinner, because they're going to do something, and that paint thinner could kill them the first time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Appreciate you listening.
And I will close this hearing on 337.